Hi, I'm Vinnie Jones, and this is the Premiership of football shows. Just have a look at our lineup tonight.
You might take a shot on goal and you miss it, and I might make some comment as I'm passing you and things like that.
Then I should hit you then, shouldn't I?
How many shots do you have on goal?
Last year, because Rangers could equal Celtic's record of 9 in a row, there was a lot of pressure.
If you've ever committed a foul, have you ever lied your way out of it?
Ever? Every week, of course. Of course it is. Was you not watching the game?
Hi, I'm Mary Parkinson, and today I'm in the Midlands with Leicester and Wolves fans. You guys, I mean, how are the nosebleeds going up at the top of the Premiership there?
Controversy has probably gone through my football career with me, as many of you may know, but making the headlines for the wrong reasons at the moment are referees, which I'm bloody happy about as it happens. Tonight we've got Philip Don, ex-referee, and now he's an observer for the Referees Association. We've also got a legend in his own right from Aston Villa, Gary Shaw, and England. We've got Dave Bennett from where are you from? We don't know this. We found him somewhere walking about Jamaica trying to look for his passport. Again. But Benno has played in the cup final. He's also played most of his career up at Coventry. And we've got Robbie Savage, one of the new sparks of the Crew Academy, coming through the ranks now, and he's now playing at Leicester. We're just going to open up, Philip, with you about obviously the controversy with the Petty sending off. Yeah. You know, and obviously we know, all of us here know that you can't put your hands on referees. But he made a statement in one of the papers saying that he done that so that 30,000 referees on a Sunday morning would be protected. Yeah. When did he make that decision? Did he make that decision when he got up in the morning, or before he pulled his red card out? Or?
I would hope he made it as he produced his red card, because whenever I refereed, a penalty, a yellow card and a red card are instinctive. If I had to think about it, I would never do it. And I think what he's done, he's, if you like, gone out there, he's sent the player off, and then he's thought about it afterwards and he said, right, I've now set an example for the 30,000 referees in the country.
And when you look at some of the manhandling of referees, you know, most of them that they show recent times have been yellow cards.
Yeah. But I don't think there's been one where two hands have been placed on a referee. There's the odd where there's the mass intimidation, where maybe a dozen players surround the referee. But I don't think there's been one that I've seen recently where it's been a one-on-one and the player has actually put both hands out on the referee.
It never happened to you?
Not two hands. I've been involved in a mass intimidation where there's been the confrontation, and as you say, I've cautioned, because I don't think the player has gone out there to literally manhandle me.
Yeah, but I mean, you'd say intimidation. You've got all the protection. The referee's got all the protection in the world. I mean, Benno, when the boy put his hands on him, I mean, he weren't going to beat him up, was he?
No, not really. It's like he says, you have mass brawls, and some players do run in and they push this and they push that. So you got to take it. Is it intent, or he's just stopping him? What's he done? He's not really knocked him off balance or anything like that.
But that's what I'm saying. It is intent. I mean, Gary,
it looked to me as though the referee made a very rash decision. I thought, he was intent on, wanting to get involved in the game, possibly wanting to make himself known, and I thought it was a very, very quick decision to make from the ref. As if really Petit was just like holding him off a little bit in case the referee was just, obviously there might have been a collision, but it just seemed to me it was also very quick to me, Phil.
How can we overcome this now then, Phil? I mean, will he wake up in the morning and say, well, he ain't exactly thumped me in the ribs?
Well, I think had he thumped him in the ribs, then that player is likely to have been banned for life.
Yeah, but I cannot see that any player would do that. I mean, how many games of football have we had in 10 years at the top level? Right. And no one has ever struck a referee.
No. There was that one in Australia, wasn't there? That fella on the pitch, Not the ref out.
And
There might have been a cousin of this referee or something.
But I think the other point which Paul made in, I think it was the Daily Mail today, didn't he, about the 30,000. I think the problem with that is it does go on in Sunday football and it goes on in park football. And there are referees who have been off work for months and months and months and have taken players to court because they have been assaulted on the park. And I think Paul has sent this player off, as he did on Sunday, and I think he's now made that statement, well, we are setting the example. So if it happens to you on the park, don't be afraid of sending them off.
It's been doing that for years though, hasn't it? Park football, it's always been having brawls and referees.
Yeah, but they have the same laws as the Premier League.
Yeah, to do that, but there's more characters before. You had your Clyde Thomases and everybody else like that who laid the law down straight away. And sometimes if players got in their way, they pushed them out of the way.
Yeah.
So you know, there's rules for some, there's rules for others.
There are, but I think what's happening over the last few years with FIFA, they are now wanting to bring in the mandatory instructions, like the foul tackle from behind. The referee doesn't have an opinion now. He has to caution, and if he doesn't caution, then he will be marked down, criticised by the observer in the stand. Because what's happened in the past with the likes of Clive Thomas, Keith Hackett and other referees, they control the game, but they did it with their personality. They did it without necessarily applying the law. And FIFA said after Italy 90, enough's enough. We've got to tell the referees what they're going to do.
So do you think we're lacking personality referees then?
No, I think
I don't think they're allowed to have one. No, I don't think.
Well,
because
Gary,
they're
what was
big-
it like? You must have known the characters. The referees were about. They were when Ice came in. They were going out.
Of course there was. I mean, you could have some camaraderie with them. You could have a bit of lip with them, give them a bit of stick back, and it was all, you know, all in humour, you know, all in jest. And I think nowadays that part of it's definitely gone because of the regulations laid down by FIFA, which doesn't really give you an opportunity to formulate relationships between player and
Gone are the
referee.
days where the referee's opinion is diminishing, unfortunately, because they're now having to do things by mandate from FIFA. And if they don't do it, and don't do it as FIFA or the Football Association want, then those referees will be punished.
What about that referee that refereed us against Athlético Madrid? He's been suspended since that game. We should have had 3 penalties. Everyone was. Did you see that on the TV?
I saw some of it.
Every one was a penalty, and he didn't give it. But over there, he gave a penalty, and after the game, he's been suspended.
Yeah, but that doesn't help Leicester City Football Club, does it?
Basically, the reason being there will have been a UEFA observer at that game, as I do on the Premier, and he will have marked him such a low mark that UEFA have said, right, he will not get another UEFA game for the rest of this season. But I bet you he's still refereeing in the French Premier League at the moment.
Well, we'll come back to that in a second. That's a good point, Rob. Be back.
What do football players do once their careers end, and what do celebrities do on a night off? Well, it seems they freeze their nuts off on a football pitch such as this.
So an element of favouritism already creeping in.
Yeah, is that
For one individual who, to be honest, has let us down quite badly recently.
Listen, each one of you, black tape, white socks, good contrast. Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, you got a problem with that?
No, the socks.
I used to play a lot when I was younger. I went and trained at Hyde United, great team, and Stockport County and stupid thing. And so I loved it, yeah. But it's just an opportunity, so I can still play at decent grounds and kick about with the lads. It's great.
So have you ever, when you've been out on the pitch there, if you've ever committed a foul, have you ever lied your way out of it?
Ever? It's every week, of course. Of course it is, man. Was you not watching the game? Every time like that.
I'd rather been a footballer than a pop singer. I just think it's just the best thing ever. Honestly, I really mean that. So to me, what is the thing you would like to be the most? Pro football. You've got to put a foot in, you can't let people take liberties with you. And they're always doing these games. We was playing tonight like a load of young kids, you know, and you can see them, they think, oh, these are a right set of old bastards, we're going to turn these over. And of course, we think, well, you're not going to turn us over because we've been playing for a long time and we won't let them get away with stuff. And they think they're going to get away with it, but they aren't going to get away with it. So first 20 minutes especially, it's almost like chess because you can see them angling for stuff and they'll try something and you make sure you knock them about. I always knock them about for 20 minutes, but nothing illegal. It's just like, you know, make sure they eat physical contact.
So are you one of these that sort of commits a foul and lies his way out of it?
No, I don't really notice that. I don't get pulled up that often. I am little, which is brilliant. So if you're marking somebody that's 6 foot, you can smack them. And the referee will normally give you the benefit of the doubt, especially if you don't say anything to the referee.
Do they take it seriously, do you think?
Oh yeah, I mean, tonight's game, like we ended up winning 3-2 and John Kelly scored the winner. And towards the end of the game they were attacking and John sort of chased back, you know. And when John was a player, like, he never really used to do that, you know. So the fact that he scored the winning goal, he wanted to make sure it was a winning goal. He didn't want Castleton to, you know, to get an equaliser. Oh, he has a lot of pride.
Pride at stake and you've got to go out there, do your best. People are still looking and watching and maybe there's some scouts out there, you never know.
Now listen, I know you've got a radio programme. What would you do if one of your listeners rang up and said, look, I've just watched you last week playing football and you were just a pile of crap?
It's an interesting one, that. I'd try and keep them on the phone and
get their number.
Get the phone number, find out where they live and go through and put the windows through with a baseball bat. Just all strictly, of course, all strictly in the interest of sport. Do you know what I mean? That'd teach them, wouldn't it? They wouldn't do that again in a hurry, would they? That and the fact, and then get my friends to harass them maybe for a year, you know, till they moved out of the country and perhaps kidnap some members of the family, things like that, you know. No, but the thing is not to overreact. I mean, what is more important than football? Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
people say, oh, it's a friendly and all that, and you shake hands before the game, and as Vinnie Jones will tell you, every match is a match to win, and there is no doubt no one wants to lose a game, you know what I mean, and that's the way it is. No matter whether it's an all-stars team and we're all maybe have jobs to lose, it doesn't matter. We just use that as an excuse when we get fouled. Yeah, you know, we got jobs to lose, but we still give as good as we take, believe me.
And today I'm in the Midlands with Leicester and Wolves fans. You guys, I mean, how are the nosebleeds going up at the top of the Premiership there?
Wonderful. We love it. It's great.
I mean, they are where you want to be, where you think you should be.
Yeah, we obviously think we should be there, and hopefully we'll be there next season with them.
Well, languishing in the middle of the Nationwide League at the moment, the chances of achieving that are getting more and more remote, aren't they, with each game that passes?
They do get more and more remote, but I mean, we've got confidence in the manager, we've got confidence in the team, we've got confidence in everybody connected with the club. So, you know, we're a bigger club than Leicester, and we deserve to be in their position. And I think at this time next season, if you want to do this programme again, we'll be up there in the Premiership fighting with the best.
I don't quite agree with that. I think you've done us a favour by taking the manager off us. It would have put us in the same position that you're in at the moment. And if you don't get rid of him, you won't ever get up.
I mean, do you really have confidence in McGee?
Total confidence in Mark McGee, because if they haven't got any reason to talk about Mark McGee, and if he hasn't done anything good for them, why do they always bring him up? Why do they always chant his name? I mean, clubs get rid of managers week in, week out. Yet Leicester City sing about him every single week. They don't go, Leicester City are great, Leicester City are great. They go, cheer up Mark McGee. So they must have done something for him.
He got out, didn't he?
He got out.
Well, he got out and left you with probably the best manager
ever.
Outside the top.
We also noticed that when we went to Barnsley, and we've also heard Reading singing "Cheer Up, Mark McGee." So it's not just us that are singing about it. There's quite a few teams singing about it.
Barnsley are singing about Mark McGee for one reason and one reason alone. Mark McGee said that when Barnsley went into the Premier Division, they would be the whipping boys of the Premier Division. And they got beat by Man United 7-0 at the weekend, right? And they've lost 6-0, they've lost 5-0 to Premier teams. And what Mark McGee said was right. They are the whipping boys of the Premier Division.
One thing about Barnsley as well, Barnsley will finish the worst team ever in the Premier League with the lowest number of points. So Mark McGee isn't wrong.
But they're at least they're there. They're where you think you should be. I mean, it is now the transition from the Nationwide League to the Premiership is a big jump now. Leicester, I mean, are one of the few clubs who, in the last 5 years, have made the jump. You know, they are now an established Premiership team. It's not just a matter of getting up there; it's staying there. But you guys, you know, you've got to get yourself in the position to get there. And McGee and Hayward, between them, have spent millions.
Hayward spent millions. Mark McGee spent a few. I mean,
well,
he's never going to
Hayward's
spend
millions.
Yeah, he spent a few of Hayward's millions.
With all due respect, 2 seasons in the Premiership division doesn't make an established Premier Division club.
Then at the moment, though, Leicester, I mean, they not only have they stayed in the Premiership, but they've actually got themselves. They've won a trophy and got themselves into Europe.
Every dog has its day, though, Mary. Let's be fair. Every dog, Leicester are having a great time at the moment, and good luck to them.
When's your coming?
Yeah, well, it's coming soon. It's coming soon. I tell you, we have got an absolutely top youth system. The club is set up. It is geared for the Premier League, and we'll get it right. If we don't get it right this season, we'll get it right next season. But when we're there, we will be the absolute dog's bollocks. We'll be in the top 10 season after season. Leicester will be nowhere. They'll have a few good seasons under your man, under O'Neill. But
who wants to? Apparently, who wants to move?
You can't play youth team players in the Premiership, and that's where you're trying to get. And the way you've got a manager and the players he's buying, you won't get there.
No, but you've got to have a structure to the club. You've got to have a structure to the club. And Leicester have done well under O'Neill. He's bought well. He's got the team where they are now. But that's not a recipe for continued success year after year. So you can't compare yourself. Yeah, I think it is. I think it is.
Because by going out and spending millions. I can go back 2 or 3 seasons. Derby spent it. 14 million to get out of the First Division. What ended up when Arthur Cox left? they put Robert Farland in charge. He was left with the shit.
It's about what goes on at the bottom. It's about what you build from the bottom, and Wolves are built on solid foundations. Wolves are built on solid foundations.
You've been saying that for seasons
Yeah,
now.
but it's all changed.
No, we haven't. Wolves hadn't got a good youth development system until Graham Taylor came along. Now, Graham Taylor, with all his faults, I for one didn't want him as manager of Wolves, and I think as far as first team football goes, we just didn't want him there.
About, is it?
No. But he has built an excellent foundation for youth team players. It's just starting to materialise now. We've got a lad broken into the first team at the start of this season, Robbie Keane.
Oh,
He's
absolutely fabulous.
17 years of age,
yeah.
right? They've put a price on his head already of £4 million, and we've just tied him down to a 5-year contract. A couple of weeks ago, we launched another 17-year-old in at fullback, right? Yeah. They're bringing them through. The foundation is there. Mary, you're a Red. Yeah. Who's got the best youth policy in the Premier League? The Reds have. And where are they? Top of the league, right?
And with 7 of our first
and the
team
thing is, it's continued success
because you're bringing them through.
What you're talking about is continued year after year
managerial career
McGee,
on Alex Ferguson.
Mark McGee.
And that's what he's doing now. Yeah. We're bringing the youth team. We're building at the roots. We're getting a solid youth foundation. We've got a good central league side now, and we're bringing players through. And you've got to give them time to come through. And as Bill says, if we don't do it this season, we'll be there next season. But we're still looking to do it this season.
You've got 3 of you here. You're Wolverhampton fans. Would you say you were speaking on the majority? The biggest percent?
Yeah,
yes, I would. Definitely.
Well, I'll give something. I went on holiday last year. Wolves fans see me, and they said, for Christ's sake, why don't you come and fetch him back? Because he is absolutely an utter.
How many did you see? How many Wolves fans did you see on
holiday?
How many? 26, 27, 28,000?
They only needed to go to the game against Swindon to know the backing that the Wolves fans were giving the manager right from the word go. I think Wolves fans are absolutely fed up of the press talking about the manager going. It is a press-related thing. They're sick of other clubs singing "Cheer up, Mark McGee." We're fed up of it. We're sick of all that.
We'll get on. You wanted to get into the Premier. You thought you took a superb manager. He was going to make superb buys. He was going to get you there, and he hasn't done it. That's what you're really pissed off about.
And on that note, I'm going to wrap this half up. But we'll be back for more in just a minute.
Still to come, Vinnie argues with referee Philip Don down the local boozer. Jimmy Wagg talks rivalry with Alan Stubbs at Celtic. And the match finally kicks off in Budapest. Meanwhile, Mary is back down the pub with the Wolves and Leicester fans.
Come on, let's have it, Ben, let's have it! You're slipping on your goulash, Hungary! Come on,
Ben.
Forward! Come on, William, get the ball moving!
Come on, boys. Come on, Callahan, down the wing. Down the wing, take it slowly. That's a good one.
What do you want them to do on the playing slippers? What that one him with me at? Beautiful. Play it. Take it in. Keep your eye on the ball, St. John. It's got spots on it. Don't take them home with you.
Who's gone off? He passed it. He was offside. It was definitely offside. The man went forward.
Welcome to part 2 of Wolves and Leicester. Leicester City, what about Atletico Madrid this season? How did you see that game?
Probably from the telly.
Yeah.
On the telly, yeah.
Not on the telly, mate. We went to Madrid and we went to...
Did you enjoy Madrid?
We didn't enjoy the Madrid Spanish rivalries, but yeah, it was
Did
an experience.
They came for you as well, did they?
We went on the coaches and they obviously stopped us from going into Madrid, held us in a pen for up to an hour before the match.
No.
Forced us all go straight in the ground, couldn't go anywhere around the ground.
I mean, these stories didn't really come out that much, did they?
They weren't violent. It was nothing like the England-Italy game.
Yeah.
But they just
It was
didn't
just
let you go
hostile.
anywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
It's that, I remember when I went to Sweden to watch United play, it was sort of hooligans. They had this wonderful sign, hooligans not welcome here. And you were sort of shunted around and just made to feel as if you were a hooligan or a hooligan, as they just got anyway, you know, that you would...
It's with Man United, they take 5,000 fans over there. I mean, Leicester, it had seemed like there was a lot of police because, as I say, they went on the coach. I mean, they were probably outnumbered 20 to 1 by the police that were there.
Skateboards and
But at least they went to Athlético.
We've been to Fulham.
3,000.
That's far more adventurous.
And we won, which is a big difference.
And we were the pioneers of European football, remember? And we
Well,
would
you
never
weren't.
take that away from us.
But you weren't the first team to play in Europe, in a European competition. We were, absolutely. Because all on the back of Wolves saying that they were the best team in Europe.
No, we were the pioneers of European football.
Who played the first series of games against European opposition?
Well, it was
Who
Wolves.
brought them out?
Yes.
It was Wolves, of
Yeah.
course. Onved
Yeah.
came over.
Yeah.
You know, and it's continued from there. We're just having a lean run at the moment, but we'll be back. We'll be back.
And you're enjoying it the most fantastic
We're enjoying
time
this
in
best
Leicester's.
run ever.
It's a shame that the rest of the supporters in Leicester can't get behind the club. Because,
Well, I
I mean,
think
the
you have-
ground...
It's not a big city, is it?
It's not a... I mean, how many does the ground hold?
21,500.
What's the
And
average
it's full
price?
every week.
Have they ever won the First Division? No, I think they were runners up in 1920 something.
There's no first division now, it's Premiership.
How many times?
No, there is a First Division.
How many times?
Try 1961.
How many times have we won the FA?
1961 it was.
And you've been unfortunate runners-up 4 times in the FA Cup, but you did win the Coca-Cola Cup last year.
That's
But
right.
don't you feel, as you know, now you're up there and you're trying to compete with the really big boys, and you are competing with the really big boys. But in order to really sustain some momentum, you're going to have to buy.
Oh, big time, yeah.
Big time
We did. No,
players,
I
aren't
think
you?
everybody accepts that. We floated on the stock market last week and raised £12 million
That's
towards
what the
players
shares
and
put
grants.
today.
No, they were, in fact, the shares went up 1.5 points today. The Leicester shares. So
Have you bought some?
No,
Not yet.
not on my money.
I suppose in fact you'll be able to buy somebody at what 1.5 million, something like that. Because they're very mean, aren't they, the Leicester board? Let's be fair, and that is the bottom reason why McGee left, because the Leicester
Well, that
board
was
were mean.
George, wasn't it? George is
No,
gone
but,
now, though.
You know,
And how long will you keep O'Neill for?
A lot of
because
it-
he's a top quality
Well, he's
manager.
a top
manager.
How long
He
will you
wants
keep
all
him
Unless
for?
we spend and do
That's
well.
top
That's
quality.
right.
O'Neill wants to spend, does he?
I think he wants to spend, and if he doesn't,
He's
if he
got
doesn't
what it
get
takes.
it.
I admit, the guy has got what it takes. O'Neill is
our biggest-
absolute top
our
class.
biggest money
You won't
raking
keep
money's
him.
come last few years has come off Villa and the Wolves.
Yes, absolutely.
£1.5 million for Steve Corica.
250,000 for the Spider, who never kicked a ball for us. Never even put a kit on.
Was it 1.1 for Ewan?
Yeah.
Ewan Roberts?
So we sold him on. We sold
got
Ewan
the
Robertson,
money back.
We got our
We
money
got
back.
the money
We
back.
got their best. Well, we got a good manager from Leicester, Mark McGee. They've got O'Neill. They won't.
I mean, I
I've
think-
got to be honest. Leicester will not be able to hold on to O'Neill. You can't hold on to
Yeah,
him
no.
because
The thing is, one of the big boys will come in, they'll pay him more money, they'll take him away.
They'll
Just
take
like
him away.
just like we did with McGee.
they will. They will.
He's just signed a 3-year extension to his contract.
It means
Means
nothing.
nothing.
It means
It
absolutely
means
It
nothing.
does to some people, it doesn't to others.
It means nothing.
Me, he's an honest man. He's
Money
dead
talks.
honest
You
man.
wish.
At the end of the day, money talks.
Well,
And
it
if somebody
hasn't.
comes in-
It talks.
So are you
louder
telling
than-
me? Are you telling me that if Manchester United get rid of Ferguson, offered Martin O'Neill a contract, he'd say no, thank you?
I
Yes,
think.
I'd say that. Yes, definitely. That's not bollocks or nothing. That's right.
He'd
I
say
honestly-
no, thank you.
I'd honestly believe that. I honestly
Arsenal,
believe
Manchester
that.
United, Liverpool. He'd go to any one of the big. He'd go to one of the big clubs.
You wouldn't hear these words because he wasn't your manager at the time. But a certain gentleman walked through the doors of Filbert Street, Mark McGee, and says, I will honour this club. I will sign a contract. I will honour it to the end. And did it? It was a bigger two-faced git than what Little was. When
the
it went
problem
back.
was-
If somebody pitches up and says we'll pay you X and you're getting a lot more, you can't expect him because your guy was it not Smeaton, he's your chairman at the moment.
Martin
George
George.
would have sacked him. Would have sacked
Martin
him like that
George
if he hadn't have done the
was the
business.
biggest two-faced guest.
This gentleman's just come up with a statement that says money talks, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Why hasn't Bully left Wolves
Yeah,
then
what-
when he had chance?
Yeah,
Money
you
talks.
can't beat loyal
Because
man.
money talks.
And he
So
loves
he
to
needs
the
loyalty.
club.
He could have got more
He's
money.
going
out.
to
I
he's
mean,
been well
money
rewarded.
talks.
He could have got
He's
more
well
money.
paid,
out.
isn't he?
You're singing the praises
Very
of
well
Martin
paid.
O'Neill. This is how Martin O'Neill's trying to fuel it between the fans. When Villa came to Leicester, he said to the Leicester City supporters, keep off Brian Little's back. Keep off his back, he's done nothing to us. But when Wolves come here, he says you can do what you like to McGee. Now what kind of a bloke is that? He's just fueling it.
Which is good fun between the supporters.
Well, it's great fun, but it's gone to another stage now between the supporters. Because, like, we can let bygones be bygones.
Oh,
Wolves
yeah.
can let
Yeah.
bygones
Yeah.
be. But
Looking
I'm
up.
afraid.
How much acid did you give Welshie?
Sorry.
How much
Yeah, but
acid?
he's a
What?
the guy's
What
a
chance
cheat.
does
He's a
Wolves
cheat
take?
because he got bully sent off. The guy's a cheat.
So Bully don't do it. So Bully don't do anything then. So Bully's a goody-goody.
No,
He's
Bully's
just got
bully's
off
hard
he's
on
just
his
got off
player.
a suspension.
But he
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
chinned Walsh. Walsh went down like
I'm
a
sure
son of
you'd
brick,
stand
wasn't he?
out every time I went for a tackle giving you this, you wouldn't retaliate, and that's exactly what Welshie does.
What, went down, wasn't even hit, he went down
That
rolling on the
time
floor.
that
For goodness sake.
Wolsey got Bully sent off. There was actually an interview with the manager at the time, David Pleat, and Pleaty was in at half time talking to Walshy. Few more niggles, son. Few more niggles, few more elbows, you'll get him sent off.
So it only happens between Bully and Welshie then. It doesn't happen with any other players.
Well, not when Wolves are playing. No, not when Wolves are playing Leicester. It's only Walshy and Bully.
You never see Bully fall over unless
One
somebody
at a
actually
time,
chinned
one at a
him.
time, one at a
Still
time.
got sent off.
And what happens?
Well, Welshie had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, but the referee looked at the decision and what did he say? He says, look, I overreacted. He did nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. Get the red card away.
Walsh just got up and ran away as soon as Bully had got the red card. He was laughing his legs off.
What do you think of Mike Reid's performance in the week then against West Ham? You've played West Ham in the week, right?
Yeah. What was crap? It was crap for both sides.
Homer ref, John Hartson there could get thrown, could get
Listen,
a 10,
we're
10
just
week
about
ban,
to move
whatever.
on to a completely new subject, but we're going to have to draw it to a close then. But we'll be back for more of this soon.
Coming up, Vinnie Jones gives referees the red card down his local boozer, and Alan Stubbs talks about being Celtic's Scouser.
Well, we're still on the referee subject, and we're just asking, as footballers, we're not sure whether referees have got personalities, but Philip's here to tell us different.
I think they've all got personalities and they do communicate with you. I've been at games, in fact refereeing you, Vinnie, and I feel like by talking to you, I've kept you on the park on occasions. I'm sure there are many referees in the Premier League who do communicate with players, they do talk to players, and I've said to players, oh, sod off. I mean, I haven't sworn and said otherwise, but things do go on, but it's on the spare of the moment when things happen. I mean, you might take a shot on goal and you miss it, and I might make some comment as I'm passing you and things like
Then
that.
I should hit you then, shouldn't I?
How many shots do you have on goal?
I'll tell you what,
Good question.
A real good point is that, I know footballers say it, we're being refereed by mainly people that have never played the game. How true is that?
Yeah, well, fair enough. But if I say that I've refereed since I started over 2,000 games, and I think I've built up experience over those 29 years I refereed. Yes, I played at school football, but then I chose to referee. And so from 18, I was refereeing in Middlesex. By 22 I was on the Southern League, refereeing Wimbledon at the Crowley, and I came up that way. So yes, I haven't played it at a high level, but having refereed over 2,000 games, of which I would think, 500, probably 600 will have been at professional level, I've gained that experience, because you don't just automatically get promoted to the Football League. There are 9 rungs on that ladder to Football League.
Do you think that's right though, or wrong? I mean, we've got people like Gary here and Bennett played at the top level. Gary, can you see a shorter way where ex-pros could become refs?
Yeah, I'd like to think so, but then there's not too many look as though they're interested in doing it. To be honest, there's not enough of them coming through. I think it's looked down upon. I think if you've been a player, you then become an ex-player to finish the game through injury or whatever. I think it's not really the done thing for ex-players to go back into sort of officialdom of refereeing.
There is within the FA and the RA a 6-year accelerated programme. So if you're an ex-professional, you can take a course, as the summer before last, a dozen ex-professionals did up at Lillishall, and if they wanted, within 6 years, if they progressed, they could be on the Football League line in 6 years. And none of those have decided to take it forward. The only one who there is at the moment is Steve Baines, the ex-Chesterfield Doncaster player. He's on the Football League middle at the moment.
About players now is talk about characters in the game and everything like that. And I go back maybe 5 years, 10 years ago. We used to have every team had one who used to moan. And now you're in a regime of looking after the game. How do you go about that if someone kept saying, hey ref, read this, you almost won there and what this?
You ignore them.
Ignore them.
The whingers. I can tell you whingers in every team. And referees ignore those whingers.
I mean,
just as you know
yeah.
the players who are the... You know which referee you can have a go at, and which referee will give you some back, and others will not. They'll produce the card.
We're talking about characters, don't we? We're talking about personalities here now. That's what I'm saying.
Was it Gary?
I mean, yeah, you go back to the old adage of trying to get the referee on your side, and there's good communication with the referee and bad communication. You take the incident last night in the game you played in, David Unsworth. For me, it was only a matter of time before he was going to get booked, because you could see him rubbing up the referee the wrong way, you know, and it just a matter of time. And he was very fortunate, I think, to stay on the pitch at the end of the game, you know, so that you can have communication between players and referees, but it's the right, you know, it's how it's done. I'm sure it's how it's done.
But with that game, Sav, with the Leicester game, there's been quotes saying that the referee was a homer. You must have it. You know, people say this and he was playing in the game. Now there was a lot of controversy about when he refereed the Chelsea game. Now he's at Leicester in front of the Leicester fans, playing against West Ham. Now, is he going? Did you feel that he was trying to put it right for Leicester or not?
To be fair, Vinnie, I thought he had a good game as a ref. There's been a few quotes a day that. Yeah, because we won 2-1. He was a great ref.
West Ham fan behind us.
No, but
it is support.
As Phil, I think Phil seen the game, and I think he done okay. If I ever discussed it with Phil, Phil said he did everything right. The decisions went for us mainly, but yeah, I think he done well.
Did any of the boys say, he had a mare against us, he's got to be good to us?
Yeah, but
because all this is said, isn't it?
But do you not think Mike Reid was also put under pressure last night by being given Leicester to referee at Leicester?
I don't think he should have. I don't think he should have been out.
But why not? You see, on the Premier League, you've only got 19 referees, so they've got to see teams 3 or 4 times a season now. And I mean, this is one of the problems. That you've got the best 19 referees.
Yeah, but you had
on
19
the national
referees
list.
and you only had one Premier League game yesterday on Monday.
But he's got to do Leicester at some stage, Vinnie, in a season. It'd be very difficult for the appointments officer to go through a season without giving Mike Reid Leicester home or away.
So what are you saying? And if he give a decision the game before, you think he'll try and level it up the next game?
I don't believe he will.
Would you?
No, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
I'd go out there.
If you thought you was
the game.
wrong the game before, would you think?
No, because at the end of the day, that referee's credibility is at stake, and there is an observer in the stand who is marking that referee.
Yeah, we understand that. I'm not saying we'll dispute.
What about
that
getting onto the World Cup?
Yeah.
You refereed in the World Cup. How was the lingo there then? How do you know whether someone's having a go or not?
Given English is the #1 language in FIFA. All teams, all officials are meant to speak English. That's a FIFA directive. So that's one that comes from FIFA. But when you referee abroad, a lot of it is very flamboyant. No, calm down, up you get, and so on, where you don't get so much of that in England, but you're far more flamboyant. But players know, and I know when players are talking to me, whether they're using foul or abusive language or they're just passing the time of day. And the laws are the laws, whether you're playing in Jamaica, Costa Rica, Russia, England, the same 17
Wales.
laws. Yeah, Wales, yeah. The same
Wales?
17, the same
Gary,
17 laws apply.
What about playing for England? What about the referees? Do you think ours are better than?
I think in the main, I think English referees, British referees are up there with the best, no doubt about that. You know, not that myself I had many problems with referees. I mean, I wasn't sort of on the, you know, doing too much to run but the wrong way. But you know, I never really got too much involved. But I think in the main, I think our standards are very high. But they're always going to be contentious issues, you know, with bad decisions. So I think, you know, over the period of a season, it very balances itself out. You know, certainly, it's such an emotive issue.
I totally agree with you, because I think our game's a lot faster than the game abroad.
Oh, it is a lot
faster. And things do go on a little quicker, like you say, the offside rule, linesman. And all you say to the linesman is to keep up with play.
That's right.
And we ask them, and sometimes, no disrespect to the linesman, they miss a couple of decisions because speed of thought, and the lads do have a go.
So even though all the stick, we still think our boys are the best.
Absolutely, I think so.
We'll come back in a minute.
This is Glasgow's Celtic Park, home to a very famous football club and to a Scouser, Alan Stubbs. Alan, you've been up here now about 17 months. How's life suiting you in Glasgow?
Fine. It's starting to fall into place now. At first it took a while. My wife just had a baby. She came up for Liverpool and she was quite close to Liverpool, so and same with myself. But now it's getting a lot better now.
Have you ever come across anything like this Celtic Rangers thing? Because there's nothing that compares to that type of rivalry down in England, is there?
No, there's nothing. People probably have their own little argument about that. Probably City, United, Everton, Liverpool, Arsenal, Spurs. But until you come up here and you see it, there's nothing down there that gets anywhere near it.
What was it like for you then, being a Scouser, playing for Celtic and then playing against Liverpool in Europe?
It was brilliant. I really enjoyed both of the games. Makes it even more of an incentive for me because I'm from Liverpool, an Everton fan, and put one over on Liverpool. For me, it would have been really nice. We came so close to doing it, but it just wasn't enough in the end.
Is there a lot of pressure on you playing for Celtic? Because for the past 9 years, Rangers have had a virtual stranglehold on trophies up here, and the pressure is on much more on Celtic than anybody else to break that stranglehold. Are you very aware of that?
Last year, because Rangers could equal Celtic's record of 9 in a row, there was a lot of pressure. It was you're playing games where there's a lot of pressure surrounding the games, but the type of pressure that was covering all them matches was different. It wasn't a nice type of pressure to play in.
What about towards the end of your career? Could you see yourself going back down south?
Yeah, I'd like to. I think I'd like to finish with me. One day I'd like to go back down there to play because I know what it's like down there and I know what the standard's like there. But I want to do everything I can here, win something, and then who knows what's going to happen then.
When you look at England, is Bolton still the first result that you look for as your old club?
Yeah,
or Everton, you're going to say?
One of them, it's Everton, then Bolton, and then you usually find yourself looking for ex-players that you've played with, looking for their results and all. So it's probably Everton, then Bolton.
We'll be back down the Boozer next week for more talk about football. So it's your round.